What if the Cold War never truly ended? What if deep beneath Moscow's polished streets and towering spires, the engines of survival and domination still pulse unseen? While the world watched the Red Square parades and the iron faces of Soviet generals, the real power was sinking deeper into tunnels, into bunkers, into cities built to survive an apocalypse. And some say they are still there, waiting. Moscow is not just a surface city. Beneath its asphalt and concrete, a vast hidden world stretches for miles, a labyrinth of military tunnels, fortified bunkers, underground railways, and command centers. Some of these structures are known. The Tagansky Protected Command Point, a nuclear shelter built during Stalin's reign. The massive Cold War bunkers turn museums for curious tourists. But beyond the known lies the forbidden, the whispered, the unseen. The rumors center around something called Metro 2. Metro 2, a supposed secret metro system larger than the public Moscow metro itself, first whispered about by defectors, confirmed by cryptic leaks, and never officially acknowledged by the Kremlin. It is said to run parallel to the public subway, connecting the Kremlin, the Federal Security Service headquarters, the Ministry of Defense, and several secret cities buried outside Moscow. Its tunnels are vast, wide enough for military convoys, deep, 200 meters or more underground, below even the deepest public lines, and silent, untouched by public record, shielded from satellite imaging, protected by layers of reinforced secrecy. How do we know it exists? In 1992, a journalist named Andrew Soldatov published the first serious claims about Metro 2. He described a second hidden system, constructed under Stalin's direct orders, as a lifeline for the elite in case of nuclear war. Later, reports emerged of construction workers stumbling upon bricked-up tunnels during metro expansions. Tunnels with polished tracks, active power lines and fresh air, but no recorded destination. One former metro engineer, speaking anonymously, described entire maintenance sections sealed by blast doors, doors that crews were forbidden to approach. When asked what lay beyond, the only answer was a shrug and a warning, better not to ask. Even stranger are the accounts from urban explorers, the diggers of Moscow. In the late 1990s, a few dared to slip beyond service tunnels, maintenance shafts, forgotten ventilation systems. Some returned with stories of vast underground chambers, of murals showing Soviet leaders holding the world in their hands, of trains still running, empty, silent, vanishing into black tunnels where maps show nothing. Others never returned. Today, government security in the metro is extreme. Surveillance is everywhere, cameras, patrols, entire trains commandeered by security forces when unauthorized access is detected. It is said that the penalty for discovering parts of Metro 2 is not arrest, it is disappearance. Officially, Russian authorities deny everything. When questioned, spokesmen laugh it off as urban legend, stories for bored tourists, and yet, in 2018, declassified Soviet-era documents revealed the existence of a project codenamed D6, a massive subterranean construction effort spanning from the late 1940s into the 1970s. D6's official purpose? Civil defense preparations. But nowhere do the documents specify what was built or where. The coordinates are redacted, the maps missing. All that remains is a hint, a breath, and the certainty that something was dug deep under Moscow and buried in silence. Beyond Metro 2 itself, the rumors grow darker. Some claim there are entire underground cities, Zashchitnye Goroda, protected towns, built to house tens of thousands of government officials, military elites, scientists and their families. Self-sufficient cities with hospitals, schools, farms, buried deep enough to survive direct nuclear strikes, connected by high-speed trains running through Metro 2, hidden beneath forests, invisible to satellites. Some of these places have names whispered only among defectors: Ramenki 43, Yamantau, Mezhgorye. And the chilling truth? None of them have ever been publicly acknowledged. If these underground cities exist, if Metro 2 is real, then Moscow is not just a capital, it is the shell of a deeper machine, a visible puppet masking a second invisible world. A world built not for the living, but for the survivors. Beneath the official Moscow, the legends of Metro 2 grow darker. This hidden metro, if real, was never meant for ordinary citizens. It was built for one purpose: survival of the regime, no matter the cost. And survival demands more than just tunnels. It demands fortresses. Tagansky Protected Command Point, known today simply as Bunker 42, is one of the few Cold War bunkers that the public can visit. It plunges 65 meters beneath the surface. Massive blast doors seal it from the world above. Within, entire command rooms, sleeping quarters, and stockpiles of supplies remain, frozen in time. Tourists marvel at the vintage equipment, the eerie hallways, the cold stillness. But Bunker 42 is merely the surface scar, a relic left for public consumption. The real secrets, they say, lie far deeper. Hidden from public access, deeper levels of Tagansky, sealed by reinforced blast doors and miles of reinforced tunnels, are said to still be operational. Sentries in unmarked uniforms occasionally spotted entering service lifts. Supplies delivered at night, unrecorded by official manifests. Former Soviet engineers hinted at multiple floors beneath the visible bunker, some still classified, still functional. If true, Tagansky may only be the antechamber to a living, breathing underground network that Moscow refuses to acknowledge. And it doesn't end with Moscow. The Soviet obsession with underground survival extended across the entire country. Deep beneath the Ural Mountains lies Mount Yamantau, a facility so secret that even today, satellite images show blurred zones, and official inquiries are met with silence. Massive excavation efforts were observed in the 1990s, long after the Cold War supposedly ended. Whole mountainsides hollowed out. Railroads leading directly into the mountain's core. Officially, it's just a mining operation. Unofficially, a second government waiting for the end of the world. Some reports suggest Yamantau could house up to 60,000 people. A self-sustaining ark buried deep enough to survive even a direct nuclear hit. What connects it to Moscow? Some believe Metro 2 isn't confined to the capital at all, but is merely one branch of a far greater network. The secret cities theory grows even bolder. Throughout Russia, closed towns still exist, places like Mezhgory, where entry is forbidden without special authorization, and whose very existence is denied on many maps. Why so many hidden communities? Why the need for such extreme secrecy decades after the Cold War's supposed collapse? One chilling possibility is that the Soviet Union never fully dismantled its continuity of government programs. That underground, a second country still waits. Armed, supplied, and ready. A Russia beneath Russia. The psychological impact of these theories cannot be underestimated. For the ordinary citizen, Moscow is already an overwhelming city, a hive of streets, towers, and monuments to history. But the idea that beneath the familiar metro stations and bustling avenues, another city exists, silent, unseen, prepared for the worst, breeds a quiet dread, a sense that no matter how much the world above changes, some powers below remain eternal. Stranger still are the reports of phantom trains. Witnesses claim to hear distant rumbles late at night, deep underground, long after the public metros have closed. Maintenance workers report entire service tunnels briefly illuminated by passing lights. But when they investigate, nothing is there, no train scheduled, no tracks warm. Some believe these are just vibrations from surface traffic. Others suggest that Metro 2 remains in limited operation, ferrying supplies or people through the veins of the city. There's even a name for these ghost lines: the Black Metro. The Black Metro is not just a myth of trains. It's a symbol, a reminder that beneath every visible system, every city, every government, there exists a hidden machinery, silent, unaccountable, and always moving. Even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching, every service door you pass on a Moscow platform, every ventilation shaft, every bricked-up tunnel, they could be nothing. Or they could be a doorway into the second Moscow, the one built not for today, but for the end. And the deeper you dig, the more the ground itself seems to whisper, "You were never meant to see this." The deeper the legends of Metro 2 run, the stranger they become. Because sometimes it's not just about tunnels and bunkers, it's about the things people experience when they dare to stray too close. Urban explorers in Moscow, those reckless enough to push past sealed service doors, to creep into ventilation shafts, to slip into forgotten maintenance corridors, have reported anomalies. And not just the expected dangers, rotting supports, collapsing ceilings, pockets of bad air, but things harder to explain. Tunnels that don't match any known map, passageways where sound disappears entirely, swallowed by the stone. Shadows that seem too thick, too deliberate, footsteps heard from behind, but never catching up, lights flickering, synchronized to heartbeats. And worse, a feeling that something is moving beneath the city, watching. One explorer described finding a polished steel door deep beneath an abandoned section near Arbatskaya station. No markings, no locks, just cold steel, humming slightly. When he pressed his ear against it, he claimed to hear voices, muffled, urgent, speaking a language he couldn't recognize. When he returned a week later to show others, the door was gone. In its place, a blank concrete wall, seamless, as if the door had never existed. Others speak of tunnels where time itself feels wrong. Journeys that should have taken minutes, stretching into hours. Watches stopping, flashlights dimming unnaturally fast, even with fresh batteries. One survivor wrote in his journal, "The deeper you go, the less Moscow feels like a city. The more it feels like something older, something waiting." He disappeared 3 weeks later. No trace was ever found. There are also reports of sealed trains, old Soviet models, perfectly preserved, locked behind blast doors, not abandoned, prepared. Inside, crates of supplies labeled only with the word spasenie, salvation, food, water, medical gear, radiation suits. As if at a moment's notice, the right people could be whisked away underground into the veins of a second Russia, while the rest of the world burned. Some corridors lead to vast caverns, too large for rational construction. Vaulted ceilings of concrete and steel, echoing with the slightest footstep. Empty rooms wired for electricity, but never used. Pipelines that hum, though no official facility claims them. Why build chambers so large, so deep, so secret, if not to survive something catastrophic? And then there are the closed sectors of Moscow Metro, areas the public cannot access, often without any explanation. At certain stations, Prospekt Venadskogo, Universitet, Oktyabrskaya, bricked-up tunnels can be glimpsed from moving trains. Sometimes late at night, glimmers of light can be seen flashing behind the bricks, brief, silent, vanishing as quickly as they appear. There are even darker rumors that Metro 2 and the hidden cities it connects were not just built for survival. They were built for continuation. A government in exile, a country within a country, prepared to re-emerge if the surface world was lost. According to these theories, at least 2 full generations have grown up underground, trained from birth to inherit power when the time is right. A secret society of soldiers, scientists, and politicians, hidden from history, waiting for a second chance. Is this paranoid fantasy? Perhaps, or perhaps the real fantasy is believing that the Cold War ever truly ended. Even the official metro is laced with symbolism, hinting at deeper meanings. Stations like Mayakovskaya, with its soaring ceilings and triumphant mosaics, are built deep underground, beyond the range of standard air raids. Was it simply for defense? Or was it meant as camouflage, to hide the entrances to the Black Metro, the secret veins of power? No one will say, and those who know do not speak. Beneath Moscow, the concrete does not sleep, the steel does not rust, the secrets do not die. They breathe, they wait, and sometimes, late at night, when the city above falls silent, you can feel them, watching. As we reach the deepest layers of Moscow's hidden world, a final truth emerges. The tunnels are not just relics of history. They are preparations for a future that never arrived, or perhaps one that is still coming. Officially, Metro 2 doesn't exist. There are no secret cities, no phantom trains, and yet, too many signs point to something real. Declassified Soviet blueprints show construction zones that appear nowhere on public maps. Satellite imagery reveals oddly spaced ventilation shafts in uninhabited forests, roads leading to nowhere, guarded by security forces with no insignias. Whispers from former intelligence agents speak of subterranean hubs, codenamed like chess pieces, Knight's Rest, Eagle's Eye, Red Citadel, each connected by unseen rails, each prepared for evacuation or perhaps resurrection. In 2010, a construction accident near Moscow's Sokolniki Park unearthed a tunnel unknown to city engineers. Authorities quickly sealed the site, reports disappeared, and those who filmed the discovery found their footage erased, their devices confiscated. What did they find? An old maintenance worker, now in hiding, claimed it wasn't sewer, it wasn't metro, it was something else, something breathing. Another incident occurred in 2015 when a minor earthquake rattled Moscow's outskirts. Seismic readings indicated vast hollow spaces beneath regions thought to be solid earth. When reporters questioned city officials, the response was swift and cold. There is nothing, there is no story. Do not pursue. The deeper you look, the clearer the pattern becomes. The silence is not accidental, it is enforced. Some researchers propose a chilling theory, that Metro 2 was never about evacuating Moscow's citizens. It was about abandoning them, a system designed to save only the elite, the government, the military, the scientists, while leaving the surface to chaos and fire. A new Russia, born from the ashes of the old. Hidden cities emerging from the ground once the radiation faded. A civilization of survivors who never fought because they never needed to, because they were always waiting. But what if it didn't end there? What if some of these hidden cities evolved, grew apart from the world above? What if generations born underground developed their own codes, their own leadership, their own ideas? Separate, silent, watching. What if, even now, there are people living beneath Moscow who have never truly seen the sun, raised in concrete wombs, trained to rebuild or to conquer when the time is right? A second nation, waiting for the first to collapse. Sometimes late at night, passengers on the public metro claim to see figures standing beyond the tunnels, not workers, not vagrants, figures standing perfectly still, watching the trains pass, expressionless, unmoving, waiting. And then there's the question no one dares ask aloud. If Metro 2 was real, if it still functions, who is using it now? The Cold War is over. The Soviet Union is gone. But Metro 2 remains silent, active, ready, waiting for a signal that may never come, or one that already has. As you walk through Moscow's grand stations, the marble pillars, the golden mosaics, the endless escalators plunging into the deep earth, remember, you are only seeing the surface. Beneath your feet, hidden from light and memory, another world sleeps. But sleep does not mean death, and in the forgotten veins of Moscow, nothing ever stays silent forever. One day the ground may crack open, the trains may run again, the doors may open, and from the darkness a people long hidden may emerge, not as relics, but as the true inheritors of a city and a world that never knew they existed. And if that day comes, will we even realize that they were always there, watching, waiting, or will it already be too late?